Hello everyone, welcome to the Gaming Droid and welcome back to modern Skyblock 3. So, if we have a look at the quest book, on the last stream we powered through the entire of Powered by the Stars, which led us to make this. This is a hotbed of starlight, so we've got a little thing transmitting it up. And then we have this monstrosity of a crafting altar. Because of that one over there and these ones, even during the day when there is no starlight at all, we've got full starlight. Without this one down here, although it's actually just starting to get into twilight, so we might have about down here. Without that one down there, it cuts down to about here, about 2/3. But even during the day, we can do some pretty complicated recipes. As well as that, down here we have our starlight infuser. We've got some tanks of starlight embedded in the floor. We've got the pools of starlight, and then we've got these containment chalices that contain crystals of starlight floating in containment. And that's actually liquid starlight that the infuser uses. All in all, I would say that is a pretty good mix. On the stream, we also set up a contained compact machine that has some cloches making seeds, a tank making water. There is some piping here which is taking water to these. There's a storage drawer here which is storing it. These are not resonators, these are pressers. It's interesting. And then we also have a bunch over here of the actual tanks, the actual generators generating power. And that generates us a little bit over 1,300 power a tick. That comes out into this, and then this goes to all of our phantom faces. We've got igneous extruders producing cobble, igneous extruders producing diorite, and igneous extruders producing stone over here. The igneous extruder producing stone has stopped because it's not getting water, but also because that's full, and I'm pretty sure most of these pipes are full. Not sure why he's not getting as much water. Probably because this igneous extruder is stealing it all. We do need a better water supply there. We don't have servos, so we can't use a sink, which is a much better water supply. We've got a phantom face here connected up to our combustion chamber. And now what we have to look into is we have to look into this. Now, to get this working, thermo-pneumatic plant, we have to get enough heat there. But it's actually a really slow way to process oils and things like that. So instead of processing oils through there, which requires a lot of heat and a lot of pressure, speaking of a lot of heat and a lot of pressure, how much pressure is in the system? I'm going to take these out before it explodes. So I'm going to take the pressure out of the system before it explodes. That's diesel, which is that one. So I need a better way of processing oil, and there is in Pneumaticraft a better way of processing oil. Because what we need next is we need to produce plastics, which requires us to get liquid petroleum gas. So the better way of processing oil is the refinery, and we need 4 of them in total. And this one works very similar to the plastic processing, but instead of requiring pressure, it requires just pure heat. Dang it, missed. It requires just pure heat. Now, you can provide heat via the Pneumaticraft system, which is these things, vortex tubes. You provide them with pressure, and as you provide them with pressure, one side gets cold, one side gets hot. But if we have a look at the refiner and we have a look at the recipes of the refiner, you can see that for the most part they need to be around temperature 100 to refine pretty much most things. It has to be around temperature 100. So the question then becomes, what's the easiest way to get it up to temperature 100? And you'll see that just with a little bit of fire, which we can sort of make last longer using netherrack, we can actually get this up to temperature 100 without too much struggle. Although we probably need a little bit more fire than that, which means we probably need a little bit of netherrack. So you can do this purely with fire. Now the other thing is we do need some oil, which means we're going to need to source oil. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if we have a look at this, this should be shooting up, and we should hit 100 degrees almost instantaneously. There we go. So we've hit 100 degrees already, and that's enough to process. Now, if we have a look at the uses, the bottom tank can take diesel, and then the middle tank will give kerosene. And so what we need to do is we need to find a way of putting in the right thing. So this at the moment is, I believe, yeah, this is fuel. So this one needs to go into the middle tank here. So if we were to take you and put you, say, here. Let's try that one again. Put you, say... Come on, you. I know we can do this. We're not completely incompetent. Okay, we might be completely incompetent, but we're not completely incompetent. There we go. And then if we put an extraction pump on here, like so, does that flow fuel into here? No, it doesn't. So we're going to have to put oil in directly instead. That's fine. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to set up the pump jack. So what I will do is I will skip through and we will set the pump jack up so that we can gather some more oil. Okay, so there we go. We've got the pump jack set up. And we're just going to grab porcelain tank. And if we pop a porcelain tank down here, that porcelain tank currently contains fuel. That's not what we want. We want an empty porcelain tank. So we probably want 2 empty porcelain tanks, to be fair. I think it's that one. It might be that one. There we go. Ow, 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 ow. That electric cable. So we're just going to fill this guy up to 4,000 millibuckets. And then this guy up to 4,000 millibuckets. That'll be 8 buckets of an oil. Reasonably quick and efficient. Thankfully it's nice and smooth now because we're not using low voltage cable, we're using hardened flux ducts. And hardened flux ducts have a high enough energy transmission that we can run the pump jack off it without concern. So now, if we head on over here, we should have a bucket somewhere. We do. And we should just be able to fill up this guy with 8 buckets of oil. So now we just need to get it high enough temperature for it to operate all of these simultaneously. And this now, there we go. And now it's going to be processing consistently because it's a much higher temperature. It's up to 130 or so. And there we go. Now it's holding stable at about 130 and it should be processing pretty consistently now. And now it's just a waiting game. It's just a waiting game of how long it takes for this to process us enough LPG to get what we want. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to get plastic, then a plastic mixer, and then we're going to need to go through things like virtual trading. The virtual trading is really good. That's the Amazon tablet. We already have an Amazon kind of platform. And the Amazon tablet allows you to trade for emeralds and with emeralds. Now we have plenty of emeralds, so we're going to be able to trade reasonably easily. But what I'll do is I'll skip forwards to the point where we have plenty of these fuels, plenty of these different items: LPG, fuel, kerosene, and diesel. There we go, every 5 seconds. So what we've got here is we have a timer, a redstone repeater, a block with a redstone torch on it, and then a redstone line running up. Every 5 seconds, it turns these on and off, which reignites them. and that prevents this from ever putting the fire out, which means that this is staying at a nice stable 116 degrees centigrade, which means we've got a nice stable production of oils and things like that from it. So we're going to fill it back up to get some more petroleum. Okay, so after a little bit of practice with assorted different things, after a little bit of practice, the vortex tube with the heatsink seems to be a way of keeping this up. Now, I've just added additional things to the system, so the pressure's dropped significantly. I've just lost a lot of pressure, which is why the temperature's dropped significantly as well. Well, the temperature over here is much higher for some reason. I'm not 100% sure why, because this one's using up temperature, I suppose. So this will slowly creep back up, and we have been getting a couple of buckets. So what we need to do is we need to put a piece of coal in here, and then we need to give it fuel. And then it's at the high enough temperature already. It's got enough pressure, and it'll just start making us plastic. And it should make us a reasonable amount of plastic, because it's 100 to 1,000. So that's the plastic. Then we get on to plastic mixing. Plastic mixing turns liquid plastic into coloured plastic. And it wants us to have one of every plastic colour. So we need to go and make a plastic mixer. Yeah, fire does work, but for some reason it seems to have diminishing returns over time, which is weird. So we just need some glass, I'm presuming any kind of glass, and compressed iron, compressed steel, compressed iron, yeah. So let's have a look at the uses of this. Liquid plastic in the plastic mixer. It looks like it requires temperature but no pressure. So we might need another vortex tube yet again, or we might just need to swap it in for this one. So let's grab a couple of tanks. And let's grab ourselves an extraction pump. I quite actually, to be honest, like the factory tech extraction pumps aren't bad at all. They're not amazing, but they certainly aren't bad versions of the pump system. They are fast, they're reasonably cheap, they're accessible early, and they don't require any redstone or anything like that. They can just be immediately prepped. So let's get you next to our pick. We're going to lose a little bit of pressure doing this, but that's fine. There we go. So then we have 3 tanks of liquid plastic. We can take a bucket and put some liquid plastic into our plastic mixer. We can put quite a bit of liquid plastic in actually, and then what we need to do is we need to get the 3 dyes. Rose red, cactus green, and lapis. Vanilla dyes. They need to be the vanilla dyes, unfortunately. So lapis is easy enough to get. Cactus green I don't think I have much of, but I do have a reasonably efficient way of making cactus green. So I think I do have some cactus somewhere. I'm not sure why I only just completed the cloche quest, because I've been using cloches for ages. Where is my cactus? There's my cactus. So a bit of sand. And we're actually going to jump into our machine here. Personal shrinking device. We're going to jump into here and we're just going to set up a couple of cloches quickly to make some cactus, which should make cactus pretty efficiently. So this is our power source, or this is our sort of... Those are full of water. I need my power pipes, which are going to take power this way. And for some reason, like if you break them when they're attached to a system, they don't stack. You have to put them down and break them again. And then they do stack, which is very strange. Sand and cactus, and that'll get the cactus growing, and sand and cactus, and that'll get us cactus growing. So these will grow 4 stacks of cactus pretty quickly, to be fair. Although this one doesn't seem to be growing, and I'm not 100% sure why. Because you're receiving... It's because you're receiving a redstone signal. Seriously? There we go. It's a pity that it doesn't auto-pick them anymore. It used to... actually, there's a question. What if I just plant them normally? Does the vanilla one auto-pick? Oh, the vanilla one auto-picks. That's fine then. And now the best way to get rose red out of these is we can craft them, or we can crush them. We don't have the crusher from extra utilities yet. Okay, so we're just crafting them. That's fine. And we got beetroot soul gems. I did not know we could get beetroot soul gems. Okay. So apparently we have beetroot soul gems. Fine. Okay, so 1 black plastic, 1 red plastic. Bucket. 1 green, 1 brown, 1 blue, 1 purple, cyan, 1 light grey, 1 grey, 1 pink. And then if we have a look at those should all be complete down to pink. And then I think, if my memory serves, I can just throw these back in. And once it gets up to the right temperature, which is ridiculously hot. So let's have a look at what the liquid compressor does. Volume upgrades adds 5 litres more air capacity for each upgrade inserted. Adding volume upgrades will increase the air that can be stored, causing a pressure drop. Removing upgrades will keep pressure constant, losing air from the machine. Speed upgrades increases the compressed air generated per tick. However, this is at the expense of efficiency. So what do we need for speed upgrades? Sugar, lubricant, and lapis. Yep, I can use this lubricant, even though it won't put itself in there automatically. We got down to grey plastic previously. So we will cook up above grey plastic. We need a pink, we need a lime, we need a yellow, we need a light blue, we need a magenta, we need an orange, and we need a white. And that completes our plastic mixing quest. Not bad. And then we have pneumatic elevators. For quickly going up and down, you can have a pneumatic elevator. To construct one, you're going to need elevator bases at the bottom, which can be stacked on top of each other to increase the maximum expansion height of the elevator. Elevator frames stacked on top of them, which determines how high the elevator can expand, and elevator callers, which represent the different floors. For each elevator to work, it's of course going to need a constant supply of pressure. Yeah, no, I'm not going to go with that. I'm going to build one just to complete it later, but I'm not going to go with that. So we need an Amadron tablet. So the Amadron tablet is 7 grey plastic, an air canister, which is nice and cheap, and then a GPS tool, which is 4 red plastic. So we need 7 grey and 4 red plastic to get this done. So let's put all of you in here. We don't need any of you. Now, normally there is other ways of getting plastic early game in Pneumaticraft, but we're on a Skyblock, so there isn't. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 4 red. Ah, we're actually out of plastic. Okay, so we need to make some more plastic. Dang it. Yeah, one way of, I think, setting this up reasonably well... ooh, that drained all of that pressure from there. Hopefully that will warm up reasonably quickly. One of the ways of setting this up reasonably well, I think, is if you do set it up just right, then even if you take machines away, you're not going to get any pressure leaks because the pipes are all circular. Because the way you get a pressure leak is you have a pipe at the end of a cycle, at the end of a location. So I think by setting it up so that you don't ever have a pipe at the end of a location, like that's how you set up a kind of safe system that's not going to melt itself. There we go. So this is reasonably stable pressure-wise. There's a chance it'll explode, but let's just take the coal out so that the likelihood of it exploding is much, much lower. Okay, so now we want to make the Amadron tablet, which requires us to make a GPS, which requires a redstone torch. Oh dear, how difficult. There's the GPS. We also need to make an air canister, because we're going to be storing air, and that needs a pressure pipe, which we do have. Because this is going to store air, and then we can make the Amadron tablet. And one thing we have in here is the charging station, which allows us to fill it up with air. So what we can do is attach the charging station to the pipe network. So this is a liquid hopper. It contains 16 buckets worth of liquid, and it's just a way I've been using of transporting fuel backwards and forwards because it contains 16 buckets worth. So this thing still has oil in it, actually. And you can see that it just attaches on straight away, and it'll just drain oil out of itself into this and keep this topped up with oil. So the Amadron tablet allows you to trade in emeralds for certain PCR items and vice versa. It also allows random villager trades that change from time to time. So what we can do is we can just use this to pump pressure into our device. And the pressure is going down significantly because we're using pressure to pump into the device. So let's just get pressure ticking up again. And the Amadron tablet requires a sort of place to send trades into. So we're going to go and grab a chest or something. A chest or a storage crate or something like that. See if we got any. Yeah, we've got a chest there, that's fine. And we're going to need some emeralds, which is fine because we've got 190 of them, so there's 64 emeralds. And we also have a spare tank. Pretty sure that's a empty tank. It is. So we've got spare tanks, spare everything. So what we need is we need a tank and a chest that we can bind that Amadron tablet to, and then we need to put emeralds in the chest. How's our tablet getting on? We'll take that away for now. So what we can have a look at is we can have a look at all the different trades. So what we need to do is we need to item provider location, liquid provider location. There we go. So now you can see that we've got enough emeralds for PCB blueprints, assembly, and program drills. We can also trade in oil, diesel, lubricant, kerosene, and fuel for emeralds, but it's not really worth it. We can trade emeralds for lubricant. We can trade in wheat, paper, and gold for emeralds. Oh, sorry, wheat, paper, gold, and void crystals. We can get apple oak saplings. So these are all the random villager trades here, and then we get back down into some PCB stuff. So we've got the drill and laser. We can get an engineer's hammer. We can sell coal. We can sell wool, and we can buy Wengewood arrows. So there's a few bits and pieces that we need. So let's have a look where it wants us to go with this. It wants us to make a UV light box. The UV light box increases the chance of an empty PCB for the empty PCB in it to successfully get etched. So one of the things we're going to need for that, I believe, is... How do I add one to the basket? Ah, there we go. Add one to the basket. Order. And then if we add one of these and one of these and one of these, order. So in comes the drones to pick up the payment. So that guy picks up emeralds and heads off. This guy's going to pick up emeralds and head off as well. How's the pressure going? It's fine. And those two guys have taken emeralds away. Now they've taken emeralds away. Here comes a drone carrying my PCB blueprint. And he'll pop it down in the chest. And then here comes the guy carrying all of the processor programs for the different processes. And there we go. So now we have everything we ordered. So if we look at the uses for the PCB blueprint, that's how we make our UV light box. And it should be reasonably easy. I'm just going to pop you in there to charge up. I mean, the Amadron tablet is interesting. It's nowhere near as good as the immersive industrial foregoing village trade or automatic villager trader, but it's interesting. We need some redstone. And we need some glowstone. Because to make the PCB box, we need to make redstone lamps. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And there we go. There's our UV light box. So the UV light box increases the chance of successfully making PCBs. So what we do is we put an unetched PCB in, and it slowly fills up over time. Now I'm not sure if this requires pressure. Yes, this requires pressure. We need to add this into the pressure system, like so. And that takes pressure. It's got enough pressure now, and that will increase the chance of unetched PCBs turning into etched PCBs properly. So we need etching acid. Pressure container. A bucket of water, 2 spider's eyes, 2 green plastic, rotten flesh, and gunpowder. We need 2 green plastic. There we go. So we've got a bucket of etching acid now. So if we undo the item filter there, and do that, we get a bucket of etching acid. Okay, that wasn't terrible. It wasn't the easiest thing in the world, but it wasn't terrible. And then we have to do printed circuit boards. You can finally make printed circuit boards. So we have to do PCBs. So what we need is we need an empty PCB. And to get an empty PCB, we need either a failed PCB or green plastic and compressed iron. So we're going to need several of these. So I'm just going to make a bunch of empty PCBs. What I need to do is access U and put like a random item in the filter, and then it's 1 and 1. Then I can take U out. U spit out the PCB, and then I can filter PCBs. There we go. That PCB is not really in there. So hopefully that will put in all the green plastic and all of the pressurized steel, and that will just turn it all into empty PCBs. There we go. So now we stick this in here, and this will slowly etch this up to 100% success rate, and then we drop it in acid, and that will complete a circuit board for us. So if we have a look at unassembled PCBs, so we can do it straight from an empty PCB using an assembly machine. The assembly machine requires printed circuit boards. So we're also going to have to make a bunch of transistors and capacitors. So cyan plastic, compressed iron, and redstone, and as well as black plastic, compressed iron, and redstone. Okay, so let's go. Ooh, okay, so we need more plastic. Okay, so black plastic. We need to make some more plastic now. So we've got 9 unassembled transistors, and this thing is currently at a 47% chance of becoming an assembled PCB. And this should contain... And we're back. Okay, so there's been a few changes. I've made a lot more speed upgrades. We've got a speed upgrade in there. We've got 3 speed upgrades in here. We've got speed upgrades in here. Why is that one a different color? It's weird. They're all the same speed upgrade, aren't they? Yeah, that one just goes a different color. But these things work in the UV light box. They work in all the air compressors. So we're generating power. I've also rigged up the pneumatic processing plant over here. We've got this. It's a little bit of a tangle, but basically everything we need is all in this small area. And the reason I've done this is we actually need a lot of plastic. We're actually going to need an awful lot of plastic. So we are processing up this. We are making LPG at a reasonably efficient rate. What's the use for fuel? It doesn't tell us in there. So let's have a look up at kerosene. So in the refinery, kerosene, and then we can go uses of kerosene. In the combustion chamber, we can turn kerosene into water or gelid cryothium. This will turn it into fuel, and then fuel can be turned into LPG. And in the compression dynamo, 1 bucket of kerosene is worth 1.5 million RF. Okay. That's fine. This is a little bit low on temperature now that we've got so many things attached, but the pressure will go up as we burn additional coal and burn through firewater. Firewater we were getting out of loot bags. We were getting buckets of firewater, so I didn't really have any concern about using that up. We've got another 20-something buckets of it. But yeah, I was having a look because we need to make printed circuit boards, and then after printed circuit boards we need to go into an assembly group. An assembly group requires a lot of stuff. And this is how you make the unassembled PCBs, is the etched PCBs have a chance of success, and then they send 5 minutes sitting in etching acid. And after 5 minutes sitting in etching acid, they're ready to be assembled. Now the problem with that is that this is actually a really expensive process because we need plastic for this, and we need plastic for each of these, and then we're also going to need plastic for everything that we make using these. There we go, printed circuit boards. Not too bad. And then now it wants us to make all the different elements of the assembly machine. And this is where plastic is going to get expensive. Because if we have a look in Pneumaticraft, where plastic is going to become important, what it wants us to make is it wants us to make these 5 items here. An assembly laser, assembly drill, assembly platform, assembly I/O, and assembly controller. This one requires 3 printed circuit boards. This one is a circuit board, and it requires 3 of these, each of which requires 6 plastic. This one is 3 of those, each of which requires 6 plastic. 3 of those, each of which requires 6 plastic. And this requires 3 plastic plus each of those. So we've got, what, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11... 11 times 6, I've got 66, 67, 68, 69, 69 plastic plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plastic per circuit board. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 more circuit boards. So that's 69 plastic plus another 28 plastic. So yeah, we're going to need a lot of plastic to do this. There's another 100% chance success. Throw you in there. Luckily, we've got circuit boards on the go, and we can make plastic reasonably easily. But yeah, this is going to be expensive. We've got a decent amount of pressure being generated now. The pressure should go up because this is no longer on. It's one of these things where this would be a great mod just to leave running, but without safety valves and things, it's very hard to just leave it running. I mean, we could make a safety valve, I suppose. So what we're going to do is we're going to add in a safety valve to the pipe somewhere, so like here. And then we need to give it a signal based on how much we want. So it's 7.5, we want it to be 5. Each point of redstone signal gives it 0.5, so 15 would be 7, which would mean it would release at 0.5. So we don't want 15, we want 14 would be 1, 13 would be 1.5, 12 would be 2, 10 would be 3, 8 would be 4. So if this is 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And so it's not quite what I want. I want it to be a little bit higher. So this now, I think, might have to do that. Applied redstone 8, threshold 3.5 bar. Applied redstone 6, threshold 4.5 bar. So yeah, 4.5 bar is fine. So that now is our little safety catch for it. It's never going to explode. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm actually speeding up the process of getting LPG to make plastic by throwing fuel in. The way I've done that is I've extracted and pumped from this, because when you normally do it, it just gives you a random one. So I've extraction pumped from this, and it's 80 per 100 millibuckets. So it's not a 100% conversion, but it is reasonably efficient. And what we can do is we can pump LPG out into a tank, and that's already given us over a bucket of LPG, whereas this has given us about 200 millibuckets. So this is a lot faster. So I'll come back once I've got all the plastic I need. I just thought I'd keep you updated with the fact that I'm just using this thing to create plastic faster by making LPG out of fuel. Okay, so I've just set that up to filter out compressed iron. I'm making some more compressed iron because I'm going to need quite a bit more. Because to make these tanks, we're going to need two compressed iron plus another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to need like 9 and a bit compressed iron per barrel, or 9 and a bit compressed iron per tank, and we need a lot of tanks. So we're going to need red dye, diamond, hopper. I think we actually have all those items apart from the diamond, which we can go and fetch quickly. So let's see how far we can get at the moment with what we've got on us. The IO unit. So we need to make 3 of these, and then we need to make 3 of these. And then we need to make the IO unit, which requires a hopper, which we do have in here. And this will be the IO unit. It's interesting that you can make pneumatic doors. This block is used together with the pneumatic door base to form a working door contraption. Okay. So there's the assembly unit, IO. That's the in and out. So that's the inserter and the in and exerter from the machine. We then need the assembly platform, for which we need 2 more of these tanks. That shouldn't be a problem. 2 more of these. And then now we need the compressed iron, which we should be making. Sorry if you can hear that in the background, guys. I have no idea what that is. I think that's someone cleaning their car outside, or perhaps doing a little bit of woodwork outside. I'm not 100% sure which, but either way around, there's not really much I can do about that. So there's the assembly platform. So that's one of the main components of the assembly table. Throw another 16 in there. And then we need the assembly drill, which again needs 3 more of these. 3 more of these. And the assembly drill is complete. Now we're going to need more blue plastic. So again, we're back to farming plastic, so I'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay, and there we go. So I did a little bit more plastic farming, and I got us through assembly required. For making certain Pneumaticraft items, you're going to need a few assembly lines. And then we get onto advanced pressure tubes and advanced air compressors. So these things are better quality air compressors and better quality tubes. For this we need blue plastic. For this we need to set up an assembly with an assembly in and out, an assembly in and out, a laser and an assembly platform. So actually we need to do another set of dark blue plastic, because it's made us make a laser and a drill when we don't need a laser and a drill. We need 2 arms. Hey everyone, and we're back. I just finished etching this circuit board up, so we should be able to go with 3 transistors and 3 resistors, or 3 capacitors. There's our printed circuit board, so we should be able to do a So I was just looking at the frozen combs because back in the stream I set up the first set of bees, and I set some frozen combs going. There's our assembly IO. And then we boop it with a Pneumaticraft tool. And problems. Add pressure. We need to get to a slightly higher level of pressure. That shouldn't be too bad. We are ticking up pressure, I believe. Yeah, pressure is going up slowly. We can speed that up by just burning fuel much, much faster in one of our things. And that will push pressure up through the piping. We can also detach things that we're not using. By attaching things that we're not using, we'll spare a little bit of pressure. I made a little bit more liquid petroleum through this system here. I'll just tidy up temporarily. We need to get up to... There we go. We're up at about the right level. So, problems. Connect up all other required machines. What do you mean? Connect up all other required machines. Assembly drill offline. I don't need an assembly drill for what I want to do. Okay, so apparently it wants an assembly drill for the laser pattern. Not sure why. Wait, that's the program. That's why, because I'm giving it the wrong program. That's why I'm giving it the wrong program. Why didn't you people tell me I was giving it the wrong program? And then we need emeralds. I was sure I'd purchased all the programs. That's drill and laser. That's drill. Ah, there's laser. I'm sure I purchased one of you. I'm an idiot and that's okay. I'm a fool. Please don't say. So that's why I was having trouble. And once it comes back, we've got enough for 2 sets of advanced pressure pipes. So this guy's lasered me up some pressure tubes. I made myself some blue plastics. We're going to need that for the advanced liquid compressor. Come on, let them go. Thank you. And then what we can do is we can throw these guys in around here. We don't even need that many, to be honest. We can break this. We can't break that guy yet. We need to give that guy a way around. So if we put a pipe here and a pipe here, now when we break this guy, it shouldn't release any pressure. It's fine. And then we can craft ourselves up an advanced liquid generator. And the advanced liquid generator, just given a tiny bit of liquid, a tiny bit of fuel, something inefficient, will produce an absolute ton of pressure. You can see this can get up really high. It also requires temperature to be efficient, but it is producing pressure. A lot of pressure. But luckily we have a safety valve attached here, and that's fine. The safety valve will stop us overpressuring. And the other thing we need to do is make an advanced air compressor, which I'm pretty sure we can just upgrade one of these guys. No, we can't. Okay, so we need some more compressed iron. That's fine. And that allows us to make the advanced air compressor, which again is a better air compressor that runs at higher pressure. And then we have the flux compressor and the pneumatic dynamo that it wants us to make. So we're going to need to make some more pressurized compressed iron. So let's go make some compressed iron. There we go. There's a flux compressor, which we could use to compress using flux. It's an advanced compressor just like the other ones, goes up to a maximum of 20, and we can use it to compress just using flux energy, which... Let's see, do we have a energy cell? I I think we have an energy cell there that's full. Yeah, we have a full energy cell. So let's take you and pop you like here, and then pop the energy cell on your top and make it output through the bottom. There you go, and that's now producing pressure using flux. Producing 93 milliliters of air per tick. Not bad at all. And then we need the pneumatic dynamo, and this is the other way round. This produces power in exchange for pressure. Not sure how much power it produces, but be interesting to see. Like, it might be useful. And then we're just missing the 2 compressed iron gears, and that gives us pneumatic dynamo. So let's see what happens if I put you here. No, you need to have pressure coming in the back. Let's just see, shall we? So that unlocks advanced mechanism, and it should also unlock industrial revolution. There we go. There we go. So what is this producing? It needs to get up. Oh, it needs to get very high up. Maximum RF production is 40 RF per tick. Okay, so that requires a lot of pressure and a lot of kind of infrastructure for 40 RF per tick. Okay. So the only things we've got left here are the pneumatic elevator, which is elevator base, frame, and caller. The caller is 4 white, 4 brown plastic. The elevator frame is just iron, and the elevator base is... two of those. So we need quite a bit more plastic for that. But we have everything all set up, so we might as well see if we can do those now. So this is 4 white, 4 brown. What I've got here is what you would call an absolute mess of a Pneumaticraft setup. But it kind of works. Not well. And then it wants us to make electrostatic compressor. So the electrostatic compressor converts lightning into air. So we need 3 grey plastic, 3 gold, 2 redstone, some compressed iron. That's not too bad. Now that relies upon you getting lightning, which is extremely, extremely sort of uncommon. And there we go. And that is the quest complete. So that was a little bit longer than I wanted it to be. So this thing gets struck by lightning. Hit by lightning, it produces 200,000 milliliters of air instantly. To increase the chance that the machine will be hit, you can make a grid of iron bars and attach it to this machine. The bolt will then travel through the bars into the machine. That's a lot. That's a lot of pressure to make in one go. I don't think that's a good idea because that would blow up most setups. So that's actually, we've now gained access to Industrial Revolution and Advanced Mechanism. And I'm just going to tidy a lot of this stuff away. This is all going to go into chests, unfortunately, because as fun as Pneumaticraft is, it's not actually that useful. There's not that many things you can get from it other than different kinds of fuel. Like the equipment you get from Pneumaticraft, like the minigun is very, very powerful, but the actual kind of maintenance of it isn't that interesting. You can make drones, you can make your own drones, these things, and you can program them to do all sorts of tasks like building areas, mining areas, things like that, but we've got better machines to do that with already. The armor, like the helmet, you can have some interesting items in the helmet, but not that good. So there's not really that many useful things in here. I mean, the sentry turret, maybe, if you were playing in a multiplayer world. But other than that, the main thing I'm going to use from Pneumaticraft is the omnidirectional hopper and the liquid hopper. Those are going to be my 2 main things I use from Pneumaticraft. But that has given us access to industrial foregoing, and mechanism. And it's also completed for us the under pressure chain. So we can go up to our trophy room and we can add industrial foregoing. That's the pressure trophy. Mechanism, and then we can finish off the pressure train. So these are great because if we go into industrial foregoing, we have the mob slaughterer, which is a player kill mob factory, which we can use to make a very good mob farm. The mining laser just gets us resources. The stonework factory produces all sorts of different things like stone, cobblestone, but we've already got a way of doing that. It produces sand and gravel very quickly though, so that's good. The automatic trading will allow us to trade automatically for fruit and vegetables, change them into emeralds, which will allow us to power machinery using the emerald-powered generators. Automated farms, enchantment management, and black hole storage tanks. These things are very, very good tanks. So that's probably going to be where we're going next. We also have now access to extra utilities, because we unlocked extra utilities in the previous episode by completing Powers of the Stars. And extra utilities is going to be something that we're going to be getting into because of these pipes. Transfer nodes are going to be the way we're going to be transporting a lot of items. We've also got biome changers. We've got chunk loaders, which are going to be quite useful. And we've got all the different extra utilities generators. So we've got extra utilities generators. We've got mechanism generators, apparently. I'm not sure where the mechanism generators are. Chemical infuser, chemical washer, condenser, metallurgic infuser. So somewhere in here we've got the generators. And one of the things that we really want over here is, once we get the metallurgic infuser, the automatic crusher, automatic washer, automatic water, and automatic combustion. So these things will help automate the Sky Resources pack. So we've got automated mob farms, automated Sky Resources. Down in here we've got a lot of the automated smelting and things like that. And here we've got some very, very good pipes. The pipes from thermal machinery aren't so good because they're less controllable. This one works in that it drops it in the nearest thing first. So we can actually do that quite easily. And we can set up like a chain of storage in the same way we use the Buildcraft pipes. We've also got mechanical users, enchanters. We've got access to Cursed Earth now, which will up our mob farm drops significantly. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we're going to be getting on with in later episodes. So thank you all for watching. I have been the Gaming Droid. This has been Modern Skyblock 3, and I will see you all in another episode. Bye-bye, everybody.